Hello everyone, this is Dr.G and today in cardiovascular embryology we will learn about the development of the veins and the anomalies related with it. So let's start with the development of the venous system. So the development of the venous system. Now, you already know we have the two endocardial tubes. We have the lateral plate mesoderm that I am highlighting with the yellow color. Okay, let us suppose this is the lateral plate mesoderm. Yes, and in this lateral plate mesoderm, we already know we have the pericardial cavity. Okay, we have this pericardial cavity which is developing in the cardiogenic area. Okay, so we have this pericardial cavity, and yes, below this we have the splanchnopurectus. Now suppose this is the endoderm and this is the ectoderm, right? Ectoderm, and this is mesoderm. And which mesoderm over here? Right now we are talking about the lateral plate mesoderm. Okay, the lateral plate mesoderm. Now the lateral plate mesoderm towards the endoderm, okay, which is towards the endoderm that I am highlighting with this green color, this is called as the splanchnopurectus. The lateral plate mesoderm, it is divided into two parts, the splanchnopurectus lateral plate mesoderm and the somatopleuric lateral plate mesoderm. So this part which I am highlighting, which is towards the endoderm, which is towards the visceral part of the body, this is called as, yes, this is called as the splanchnopurectus lateral plate mesoderm. Okay, it is called as splanchnopurectus lateral plate mesoderm. Now in this splanchnopurectus lateral plate mesoderm, we already know yes, we have the heart tubes which are developing, right? Initially there are two heart tubes, right? There are two heart tubes which will later on combine to form the one heart tube. Okay, one heart tube, and this heart tube after fusion, okay, these heart tubes, now these are the heart tubes, right? Now these heart tubes, they will after fusion, you already know that we have, yeah, we have this particular structure. The cranial ends of both the heart tubes will fuse. Okay, the cranial ends of both the heart tubes will be fused. Yes. So we have the three parts of the heart tube, the bulbous cortex, the primitive atrium, okay, and the primitive ventricle, and along with that we have the sinus venosus. Okay, we have the sinus venosus which is having the median part, okay, and the right horn and the left horn, right? The right horn and the left horn. So the venous development, it is starting from this particular part, right? The venous development, it is starting from this particular part. So this is called as, yeah, this is the sinus venosus, the one which I am highlighting over here. So this is the sinus venosus. So this is the sinus venosus. Now this sinus venosus has two horns. So this is the, yeah, this is the median part of the sinus venosus. Median part of sinus venosus. We have the left horn of sinus venosus, right? We have the left horn of the sinus venosus, and we have the right horn of the sinus venosus. Remember, the developing heart, okay, they will receive the blood from three sources, okay, they will receive the blood from three sources. Now, I'm taking this particular part out, because this is of our concern. The rest part, the primitive ventricle, the primitive atrium and the bulbous cortex, as of now, it is of no use. So we will just concentrate on this sinus venosus, okay, and the right and the left horn, right? So let us take this part out and understand, okay, and understand which veins will now drain into this part. Now, as you already know, let us suppose this is the sinus venosus, right? So we already know we have two horns of the sinus venosus, right? We have two horns of the sinus venosus, and this is the median part of the sinus venosus. So let me just label it over here. Yes, we have this median part, of sinus venosus, right? We have this left horn of sinus venosus, and we have the right horn of the sinus venosus, Now, the developing heart will receive the blood from three sources, right? Now, the very first source that you have to remember over here, okay, this I'm drawing with this, yeah, these are the umbilical veins. Now, these umbilical veins, they will drain into the right horn of the sinus venosus. So let us just try to draw these veins over here. So let us suppose this is the right umbilical vein, and over here we will have the left umbilical vein. Okay, we have this left umbilical vein on the left side. So these both are, right? These both are, now repeating the last line again. So these both are, yeah, we have this right umbilical vein, and we have this left umbilical vein. Now, the right umbilical vein and the left umbilical vein, they both will drain the blood, okay, into the right and the left horn respectively. Now, these umbilical veins, you already know these umbilical veins, initially we have two umbilical veins, right? Later on the right one will disappear and only the left one is left behind. So the umbilical veins, basically they will receive the blood, okay, or they will receive the blood from the mother, okay, and they will carry the blood to these to the developing heart. So remember, yeah, the umbilical veins, they will carry the blood from the mother, okay, they carry the blood from the mother through placenta, okay, to the developing heart, okay, to the developing heart. The developing heart will receive the blood first from the mother. The another set of veins that will open over here, these are called as the vitelline veins, right? These are called as the vitelline veins. So let us just try to draw this also. Yes, this is called as the vitelline veins. So we have the, yes, I can just write it as the right and the left vitelline vein. Okay, so I'm just writing it commonly, right and the left vitelline vein. Now this vitelline vein will carry the the blood from the yolk sac. You already know the yolk sac, it is the developing gut. Okay, gut means the foregut, midgut and the hindgut, the developing foregut, hindgut and midgut. So it is the yolk sac only. So blood from all the yolk sac, it is coming and draining into the developing heart through this vitelline veins. Okay, so second, you have to remember about the vitelline veins. Vitelline veins, basically they carry the blood, okay, carry blood from yolk sac to the developing heart. Okay, you already know the right vitelline vein will drain into the right horn of the sinus venosus, and the left vitelline vein will drain the blood into the left horn of the sinus venosus. Now coming on to the third one, that is the cardinal veins. You already know that the body wall, okay, blood is also coming from the body wall. We have the anterior wall, anterior body wall and the posterior body wall. ओके एक तो अंदर की तरफ गट हो गया, गट मतलब जो योक सैक द गट, ओके, विच इज फॉर्मिंग द मिड गट, हाइट गट एंड द फोर गट. एक ब्लड उससे जा रहा है, एक ब्लड बॉडी वॉल से भी जाता है, एंड दैट इज कैरिड बाय वाया द कार्डिनल वेन्स. दैट इज कैरिड वाया द कार्डिनल वेन्स, राइट. So let us just try to draw this also. So we have, I'll just try to draw it with single highlighter. Yeah, yes, we have this cardinal veins, right? The cardinal veins, okay, the anterior cardinal vein and the posterior cardinal vein, right? They are draining the blood into, yeah, forming the common cardinal vein, and it is draining the blood into the right horn. Similarly, on the left side, yes, we have the left anterior cardinal vein, left posterior cardinal vein forming the common cardinal vein and draining into the left horn of the sinus venosus. So let us just mark it. Let us just mark it. So don't confuse it with the right horn. Right horn you already know, and the left horn that I have marked over here. So this is, yes, this part, it is called as the right anterior cardinal vein, coming from the right anterior body wall, okay, taking the blood from the right anterior body wall. This is the right posterior, okay, just write it as right posterior cardinal vein, okay, and together they will form this vein, and this vein, it is called as the right common cardinal vein, right common cardinal vein, right. Similarly, we have, yes, this is the left anterior cardinal vein. We have the left anterior cardinal vein. We have this left posterior cardinal vein, and they both will be uniting together to form, yes, the left common cardinal vein, and it will be draining into this left horn of the sinus venosus. So the third pair of veins, beta, the third pair you have to remember over here, I'm writing here, the third pair, it is the, yeah, the right and the left common cardinal veins, common cardinal veins. So basically what they will do, they will carry the blood, okay, they carry blood from the body wall to the developing heart, to the developing heart, right? So the heart, the developing heart, it is receiving the blood from three sources. It is receiving the blood from the three sources. The first one, it is the umbilical veins. The first one, it is the umbilical veins, basically from the mother via placenta to the developing heart. Second one, it is the vitelline veins coming from the yolk sac, right? The gut, the future gut, which will develop into the future yolk sac, endodermal होता है और वो क्या बनाएगा, future gut बनाएगा, the foregut, midgut and the hindgut, right? And the third one coming from the body wall, the right and the left common cardinal veins. Similarly, we have the right and the left vitelline veins also, right? Basically, we have the right and left umbilical veins, right and left vitelline veins. So this is how like the sinus venosus, okay? The sinus venosus will be receiving blood. The sinus venosus will be receiving the blood from these sources, and this is exactly how they will receive the blood, right? Now what will happen? Now, if I ask you how many veins totally they are draining into the right and the left part, so if you count over here, it is 1, 2, 3. देखो, right anterior and right posterior, they will together form the common cardinal, and it is the common cardinal only which will drain. So it is the right common cardinal vein. Then we have 4, 5 and 6, right? So remember, in total there are 6 cardinal veins, okay? There are 6 cardinal veins which will now drain into the, right and left horn of sinus venosus respectively. So yes, that was about like how these veins will now they are actually draining to it, right? Now coming on to the next part. Now let us understand the fate of all these veins one by one. Right? Now you already know. Let us just suppose. Again, you have to draw the same diagram. I actually cannot help. You have to draw the same diagram over here. Yes, let us suppose this is the sinus venosus. Right? And sinus venosus, it is having 2 horns, right? It is having 2 horns. Just try to show this. Repeating the last 2-3 lines, repeating. Now let us suppose we have the right horn over here, okay? We have the right horn over here. Let us draw this. This is the right horn of the sinus venosus, and we have the left horn of the sinus venosus. And in between, you already know we have the median part of the sinus venosus as well, right? So we have this left horn of the sinus venosus, right? So you already know, yeah, what will happen over here. The right horn, let us just write it over here. We have the median part of sinus venosus, okay? We have the right horn of sinus venosus, and over here we have the left horn of sinus venosus, right? We have the left horn of the sinus venosus. Now initially what will happen, you already know there is septum transversum, right? There is septum transversum. If you know the structure, that we have this ectoderm, okay? We have this ectoderm, and we have the endoderm over here. Now in between, you already know we have this Yes, we have this lateral plate mesoderm. The lateral plate mesoderm, okay, at one end it is having this pericardial cavity, and the other end it is having no pericardial cavity. So this area, okay, it is called as septum transversum. It is called as septum transversum. Now this is lateral plate mesoderm only, and I have all explained you that it is undifferentiated. It is undifferentiated lateral plate mesoderm. It is undifferentiated lateral plate mesoderm, right? It is undifferentiated lateral plate mesoderm. This is the pericardial cavity. क्योंकि septum transversum में there is no cavity which is developed. Okay, we have this pericardial cavity, right? And yes, we have this lateral plate mesoderm divided into splanchnopleuric, okay, splanchnopleuric lateral plate mesoderm and somatopleuric lateral plate mesoderm. सोमैटो क्यों? क्योंकि एक्टोडर्म के पास है, उस वाले मेसोडर्म को नाम दे दिया सोमैटोप्लूरिक, और जो एंडोडर्म के पास है उसको नाम दे दिया स्प्लैंक्नोप्लूरिक. So we already know the septum transversum, initially it was like around the sinus venosus, but as the heart tube grows, this septum transversum is earlier it was like embedded. The sinus venosus was embedded around this septum transversum, but later on it is like away from the septum transversum. And if I just try to show you, let us suppose this is yeah, this is the septum transversum, right? This is the septum transversum. I'm just trying to show you over here. You already know this is the septum transversum. Now septum transversum is the one which will develop into, okay, now let us suppose this is the septum transversum, and you already know the septum transversum will be developing into the future liver, okay, it will later on develop into the future liver, okay, the liver. So this is the septum transversum. It is the undifferentiated mesoderm. It is the undifferentiated mesoderm. So basically what is happening, you already know there are two veins which are coming over here. Let me just try to draw this. This is the right umbilical vein, okay. We have the right vitelline vein. We have the left vitelline vein and the left umbilical vein. Right? So yes, just try to draw it completely. It is now passing from the septum transversum. Yes, they are all developing in the mesoderms only. Yeah. So yes. Now, and we already know we have two veins over here also. The right anterior cardinal vein, the right posterior cardinal vein, and yes, we have this right common cardinal vein. Similarly, on the left side also we have the left anterior cardinal vein, the left posterior cardinal vein, and together they are draining into the forming the left common cardinal vein and draining into the left horn of the sinus venosus. So just label in short, you already know this is the right anterior cardinal vein, okay, this is the right common cardinal vein, this is the right posterior cardinal vein on the right side, taking the blood from the body wall on the right side, anterior, okay, and posterior. This is the left common cardinal vein, okay, it is formed by the basically the left anterior cardinal vein and the left common cardinal vein. They will unite together to form the left common cardinal vein, okay, and it will drain into the left horn of the sinus venosus, right? Now you already know the septum transversum will further develop into the liver, okay. So these two veins over here, we have this, yes, this is, let us suppose this is the right umbilical vein, and this over here, it is the right vitelline vein, right vitelline vein. Then over here, this is the left umbilical vein, and this is the left vitelline vein. Now what will happen? You already know that soon after, we have initially two umbilical veins. Which one will disappear? That is the right umbilical vein will disappear, right? The right umbilical vein will disappear. Okay. So yes. So let us just see that this umbilical vein, or the right umbilical vein, I am crossing it. Okay, it will disappear. So yes, it is disappearing, right? So you already know that the left umbilical vein, it is the one which will only persist. Okay, the right one will be it will disappear. Even the left horn of the sinus venosus will shrink in size. Okay, it will shrink in size. It will not completely disappear. Why? Because the part of the left umbilical vein which is above the septum transversum will disappear. Okay, it will also disappear, and the left vitelline vein above the septum transversum will also disappear. As there will be reduced size of the left horn. Why? Repeat. As there will be less blood flow to the left horn of the sinus venosus, what will happen? The sinus venosus, the left horn of the sinus venosus will become small in size. See, it will not disappear. It will regress in size. It will become small in size. Okay. The left horn of the sinus venosus will regress. So remember over here, the left horn, yes, it will regress. Okay, it will regress, and the remnant, it is called as coronary sinus. I hope you already know the term. What is coronary sinus, right? The coronary sinus, the remnant, it is called as the coronary sinus in adults. Now again, I am using the term it will regress. It will not completely disappear, it will regress. So now you can see over here that there is the left umbilical vein, okay, above the transverse septum transversum, and the left vitelline vein, they disappeared, right? What will happen? What is left now over here? We have the right vitelline vein, the left umbilical and left vitelline just in the septum transversum and below it, right? Now what will happen? You already know the only source of oxygenated blood, okay, the only source of oxygenated blood, it is the left umbilical vein, right? देखो, umbilical veins are the ones which will carry the oxygenated blood from the mother to the fetus. Over here, if you see this left umbilical vein, if it is disappeared above the transverse septum, septum transversum, so it will not be able to carry the oxygenated blood to the fetus. Again, fetus needs the oxygenated blood. So yes, there will be anastomosis that will take place, and that is something which is called as the ductus venosus, right? So yes, there will be an anastomosis. So I am just trying to show you in this particular diagram only. Yes, there will be an anastomosis between the left umbilical vein and this right vitelline vein, right, and the right vitelline vein. So this anastomosis beta, it is called as the ductus venosus, right? This anastomosis, it is called as the ductus venosus. Ductus venosus. अब समझ में आया ductus venosus क्या होता है? Basically, it is an oblique, or I mean a channel between the left umbilical vein to this right vitelline vein, right? To the right vitelline vein. Now, remember over here. So let us just write over here. So ductus venosus. Okay. Let us just write over here. So ductus venosus. So in adults we have a remnant of the ductus venosus, okay, remnant of the ductus venosus. It is called as the ligamentum venosum, okay, the ligamentum venosum, okay. So it is called as the ligamentum venosum in the liver, right. ऑब्वियसली बात है, सेप्टम ट्रांसवर्सम फ्यूचर में किसमें डेवलप करेगा, लिवर में, और लिवर के अंदर ही दिस इज परसिस्टिंग एज अ लिगामेंट इन एडल्ट एंड दिस इज कॉल्ड एज द लिगामेंटम वेनोसम. वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. लिगामेंटम वेनोसम क्या है? इट इज द रेमिनेंट ऑफ डक्टस वेनोसस, और डक्टस वेनोसस रेमिनेंट, इट इज द ligamentum venosum, okay, and this ligamentum venosum or this ligamentum venosum, it is in the liver part, right. Now remnant of left umbilical vein, this again you have to remember, the remnant of left umbilical vein, okay, left umbilical vein, it is called as the ligamentum teres, और ये भी liver में देखने को मिलेगा, ligamentum teres, right. So in future we have the remnant of the left umbilical vein, that is called as the ligamentum teres. Now you already know that the left umbilical vein, it is the only source for oxygenated blood, only source of oxygenated blood, only source of oxygenated blood, and it is like a connection between the heart and this left umbilical vein, क्योंकि umbilical veins are the ones which are carrying the blood. right one तो disappear हो जाएगा, तो उसके बाद सिर्फ यही रह जाता है, and again we have to give the blood to the developing heart from the mother, and that is via an oblique connection that is called as the ductus venosus. ठीक है. Now we have already discussed about this coronary sinus. You already know about this coronary sinus, all the takeaway points that we have understood, right. So just write it. The coronary sinus, you already know it is present behind the heart wall, right. It is present behind in the atrioventricular groove. It is present behind the atrioventricular groove. Atrioventricular groove, right. You already know the atrioventricular groove, the great cardinal veins, the left cardinal veins. Basically they all are the tributaries which are draining into this coronary sinus. So remember beta, coronary sinus is nothing but the remnant of, yes, it is the remnant of the left horn of sinus venosus, left horn of the sinus venosus, right. So yes, over here you can see that there is a connection between the developing liver that is developing from the septum transversum and the right horn, right. I'm talking about this connection, yes, this connection which I'm highlighting right now, only this connection, right. So this connection which is like above the septum transversum, okay, it is above the developing liver, which is connecting this developing heart to the developing liver. It is given a special name, okay, it is given a special name, and yes, let me just mark this for you. Yes, this one, yes, this one, it is called as the right hepatocardiac channel, right hepatocardiac channel, right hepatocardiac channel, it will give rise to, okay. Now this right hepatocardiac channel, again mention in your notes, the right hepatocardiac channel, it will give rise to the terminal part of inferior vena cava. It will give rise to the terminal part of inferior vena cava. It will give rise to the terminal part of the inferior vena cava. So yes, so we have discussed like how the coronary sinus is basically formed, right, and we have all discussed about the ductus venosus over here and the right hepatocardiac channel, right? Between the developing liver and the developing heart, only this connection is like left over here, because the right umbilical vein to starting में disappear हो जाएगा. So if you just want me to draw a diagram which I can show you what is actually left, okay, what is actually left. So you already know that we have this right horn of the sinus venosus, we have this left horn of the sinus venosus, right? We have this left horn which will now regress, okay, it will regress. So I can simply say it will regress, it will become small in size, okay, it will become small in size because the blood supply it is cancelled, and this is the right horn, this is the right horn, right? And we already know we have the, yes, we have this developing septum transversum. Repeat, we are having the septum transversum over here, right? Let us just try to highlight this simply. We have this developing liver over here. So this is, let us suppose this is the developing liver. From septum transversum. Now, there is one connection which is, okay, there is one connection which is left over here, right? And this is which vein? It is the right vitelline vein. Right vitelline vein, okay? And this part, it is given a special name, okay? It is the only connection left after all the veins. The right umbilical vein will disappear. So this is called as the right cardiohepatic channel. Cardiohepatic channel, which will form the terminal part of inferior vena cava. It will form the terminal part of inferior vena cava. It will form the terminal part of the inferior vena cava, right? So again, we have another two veins like which are left over here. We already know the left vitelline vein and the left umbilical vein, right? We have the left vitelline vein and left umbilical vein, and the connection between them, right? And the connection between them, yes, this connection, it is called as the ductus venosus, okay? This is called as the ductus venosus, right? So it is persisting as the ligamentum venosum in the liver in adults. So initially the left umbilical vein, it is the only source of oxygenated blood from the mother. So it has to reach the developing heart anyhow. So it is reaching via ductus venosus. It is a connection between the left umbilical vein and the right vitelline vein, and yes, and yeah, it will be draining the blood to the developing heart. Now coming on to the fate of the vitelline veins. Now what we all actually get from the vitelline veins. Now the next one that you have to understand, it is the fate of the vitelline veins. Fate of the vitelline veins. Now let us suppose that this is the septum transversum, right? So just try to highlight this. Let us suppose that this is the septum transversum, okay? Try to use pencil colors for all these diagrams. It will be like way nice if you just use it. Yes, let us suppose this is the septum transversum. So yes, so you already know this is the septum transversum. I'm just taking the lower part now. It is the septum transversum. right, in which you already know there will be developing liver right now. Okay, so we have, let us suppose this is the liver. Yeah, it is pyramidal in shape, so just try to draw like this. It is the developing liver only. So we have this developing liver. Okay, it is formed by the transverse septum transversum only, right? It is the undifferentiated lateral plate mesoderm. Undifferentiated lateral plate mesoderm. It is the undifferentiated lateral plate mesoderm. Now, what will happen? What will happen? You already know in the septum transversum, I am now taking this particular area out, right? All these veins which are left, you already know this vein, right? This vein, that is the right vitelline vein we have. We have the left vitelline vein and the left umbilical vein. Okay, left umbilical vein, as I am not considering in this particular picture, I will be considering only the two veins over here, right? So yes, we have this particular vein over here, right? This vein which I am drawing, yes, this is the right vitelline vein, and let us suppose this is the left vitelline vein. Okay, this is the left vitelline vein. So we have this, it is the right vitelline vein, and the left vitelline vein. I am not considering the other veins right now. Let us assume these two veins only as of now. We have the right vitelline vein and the left vitelline vein. We also have something which is developing in between, and that is called as the duodenum. Okay, that is called as the duodenum. You already know the duodenum, the proximal half, it is like contributed by the foregut, and the distal half, it is contributed by the midgut. So we have the developing duodenum over here. So let us just try to focus. Yes, let us suppose that this is the duodenum. The developing duodenum is there, right? Yes. So this is the developing duodenum. Now what will happen? There will be connections between the right and the left vitelline vein. The first connection that will be present, okay, between the right and the left vitelline vein, it will be in front of the duodenum. Okay, it will be in front of the duodenum. So let me use highlighter for this. Yeah, it will be in the front of the duodenum. Okay, this is the superior, or I can say the superior transverse anastomosis between the right and the left vitelline vein, right? Now it is in front of the duodenum, it is ventral to the duodenum. Okay, we have the middle, yeah, the middle anastomosis behind the duodenum, and again the inferior anastomosis in front of the duodenum, So remember, we have, yeah, just name all this. This is the superior, okay, or proximal transverse anastomosis between the right and left vitelline vein, ventral to the duodenum. We have this middle transverse anastomosis between the right and left vitelline vein, Yes, behind the duodenum. And the third one, it is the inferior, or I can say the distal transverse anastomosis between the right and left vitelline veins, again in front of duodenum, ventral to duodenum. Right, so we have superior, middle and inferior transverse anastomosis. Just with respect to the developing duodenum, they are the superior and the inferior, they are passing in front. The middle one, it is passing behind, right? Middle one, it is passing behind, right? Now, below the middle transverse anastomosis, what will happen? Everything will disappear. Everything will disappear. Now, let us just try to show you. Below the middle transverse anastomosis, everything will now disappear. Okay, so everything which I am cutting right now will disappear. So this part will go off, right? This part will also go off, and yes, this part will also go off. बस एक ये जो वाला part है ना, that is the superior जो which you can see over here, this will also go off. Okay, this will also go off, right? So yes, only one which is left over here, it is this part and this part, right? So the middle transverse anastomosis के नीचे वाला part तो सब जाएगा ही जाएगा, ठीक है? And yes, a part of this left vitelline vein above the middle transverse anastomosis, this will also disappear. This one will also disappear. So ये सारा का सारा disappear हो जाएगा, right? This all will disappear. Now what is left? What is left? What is left? Just try to draw it in the other picture so that it becomes very clear to you. Just try to draw it in the other picture so that it becomes clear to you. Now if this is the developing liver, okay, if this is the developing liver, right, it is the developing liver, and in this developing liver, you are left with only these parts now. Okay, you are left with only these parts now. Now which parts are left? Okay, let me just draw for you. So yeah, yes, follow the same color code so it's like easy to you. We have this middle anastomosis over here, right? We also have this superior anastomosis, okay, which is connecting to this particular vein, that is the left vitelline vein. So you already know over here. Let us just mark it all. So yes, these are the parts which are left. So this is the middle transverse anastomosis, right? Middle transverse anastomosis, right? So this is the superior transverse anastomosis, right? This is which vein? This is which vein? This is the left vitelline vein, and over here this vein, it is the right vitelline vein, right vitelline vein. Now remember these two structures, right? So I'm just trying to highlight this. These two structures, okay, this and this together will give rise to something which is called as the portal vein. Okay, it is called as the portal vein. Now portal vein, if I ask you, it is derived from, so the portal vein, it is derived from, okay, the portal vein, it is derived from the two sources over here. We have the middle transverse anastomosis, and we have the right vitelline vein, right? So portal vein, it is formed from the middle transverse anastomosis and the right vitelline vein. Now middle transverse anastomosis, it is behind the duodenum. Okay, you already know it is behind the duodenum. I have not drawn it, but you can just mention over here also, like let us suppose this is the duodenum, okay, and it is just behind this duodenum. This is the developing duodenum. Now on the other hand, if you just see the one which I am highlighting right now, just a moment, the one which I am highlighting right now, this part, this and this part will together form the branch of the portal vein, and this is towards the left side, so it will form the left branch of the portal vein. Okay, these two together, okay, these two together will form the left branch of the portal vein. Left branch of the portal vein. Now if I ask you the left branch of the portal vein, it is coming from where? It is coming from where? So remember, we have the superior transverse anastomosis, okay, and it is the left vitelline vein. It is the left vitelline vein. Okay, we have the superior transverse anastomosis and the left vitelline vein. That is the left branch of the portal vein coming from. Now again, the left part, beta, the left part over here. If we just try to see over here, yeah, I'll take a darker color this side. Yes, this part, okay, which is left now. This part will give rise to the right branch of the portal vein. Okay, this will give rise to the right branch of the portal vein. So yes, you can easily see over here, beta, left branch, it is the longest branch than the right branch. Why, beta? Because the left branch of the portal vein, it is coming from two sources. We have the contribution from the left vitelline vein and also the superior transverse anastomosis present between the left and the right vitelline vein, which is in front or ventral to the duodenum, but the right branch of the portal vein. So you already know about the left branch, right? Left branch, right branch of the portal vein, right branch of the portal vein. It is basically coming from the right vitelline vein, okay. And if you see this whole, beta, ये तो पूरा का पूरा right vitelline vein ही है, ठीक है. तो if I just have to clarify, it is the right vitelline vein cranial part, whereas the portal vein, which is right vitelline vein, which is contributing to the portal vein, it is the caudal part of the right vitelline vein, just to make it understandable. So this is the fate of these portal veins, right? I mean these vitelline veins. So I hope it's clear to each one of you. So now you already know the portal vein. The portal vein, basically it goes inside the liver, okay, it goes inside the liver, right? It goes inside the developing liver. You know, the portal vein drains the blood, okay. The portal vein drains the blood into hepatic sinusoids, okay, into hepatic sinusoids, and you already know that these sinusoids are like these structures, these capillary like structures these are. So yes, they drain the blood into these hepatic sinusoids, okay. Basically from there these sinusoids will take the blood, okay, they take blood towards central vein. they take the blood towards the central vein. Okay, why central vein? Because it is present in the center. Okay, so blood is collected and it is like from the central vein, it is it goes into hepatic veins. Hepatic veins, you already know we have the three hepatic veins: the right hepatic vein, okay, the right hepatic vein, the middle hepatic vein, and the left hepatic vein, right? And these three will drain into inferior vena cava. They will drain into the inferior vena cava, right? So that is how like if I ask these whole structures beta, these whole structure, the portal vein, okay, and it takes the blood into the hepatic sinusoids, right? So the portal vein basically divides into the right and the left branch. It takes the blood into the hepatic sinusoids, it takes the blood towards the central vein, okay, then from the central vein it goes into the hepatic veins, okay, and these all structures, they all are derived from vitelline vein. They all are derivatives of vitelline vein. They all are derivatives of vitelline veins, right? They all are derivatives of vitelline veins.